Welcome to the Rooted in the Seasons podcast. I'm Katja, and this episode I'm addressing a common assumption. Yoga is just about the postures. Is it? Whether you're a beginner or you've been practicing yoga for years, today's journey will open up a richer view of yoga. I'll share insights from my history, modern research, and my personal story of how yoga helped me heal from chronic back pain due to scoliosis. Let's begin. Do you think yoga is just stretching or twisting your body in odd shapes? You're not alone. Over the years of teaching, I've met many students, even those practicing not just since yesterday, who believe yoga is mainly about physical posture. In Sanskrit, these are called asanas. And while it's true that the postures are an important part of the practice, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Yoga is a complete system for living with more calm, clarity, and strength, and it's been evolving for thousands of years. Let's take a moment to explore the bigger picture and where the postures actually fit in. The history of yoga isn't linear. It's more like a river with many streams feeding into it. And for a long time, much of that history was unclear. The deeper roots of yoga were shared orally, and written records were scattered and hard to access. However, a recent research project, the Hatha Yoga project, led by the SOAS University in London, has uncovered new insights. By translating over 200 ancient manuscripts and tracing yoga's evolution, the project revealed that early yoga wasn't focused on postures. Some of the first references to physical yoga, or we call it Hatha Yoga, actually appeared in Buddhist texts. The postures were originally tools to prepare for breathing techniques, inner work, and deep meditation, not ends in themselves. In short, what we call yoga today has grown out of a long and rich tradition, and postures we know and love are just one part of it. Yoga has been shaped by many ancient texts, each offering slightly different lens. Let's look at 3 of the most influential and why they still matter today. The first up is the Bhagavad Gita. This text is over 2,000 years old. It's embedded in an epic poem, which is called the Mahabharata, and it tells the story of the warrior prince Arjun, who breaks down on the battlefield, and his charioteer Krishna, who patiently guides him back to strength and purpose. The Bhagavad Gita introduces different pathways to self-realization, which later became known as the 4 yogas, which are meditation, dhyana yoga, insight and intuition, jnana yoga, righteous action, karma yoga, and loving devotion, bhakti yoga. That's from the chapter 13, verse 24 and 25 in the Bhagavad Gita. Individually, they also have been explained. Karma yoga, acting without expecting anything from our actions. This is expounded in the 3rd chapter. Jnana yoga is understanding our actions and acting accordingly in chapter 4. Dhyana Yoga, on how to control the mind through meditation in chapter 6. And Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, seeing the divine in each and everyone, chapter 12. Each part recognizes that we're all different and that yoga can meet us where we are. The second one is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. They're written about 1500 years ago, and this is one of the most well-known philosophical guides in the Western world. Patanjali defines yoga as stilling the movements of the mind, chitta vritti nirodha. Only 3 out of 196 sutras mention postures or the word asana. Instead, the focus is on calming the mind and overcoming the obstacles to peace through a step-by-step process called the 8 limbs of yoga. They include ethics, posture, breathing, focus, drawing the senses inwards, meditation, concentration. The Yoga Sutras are a wonderful resource for understanding how our mind works and how to find clarity even in difficult times. If you're curious about the Yoga Sutras, I'll add some links into the show notes. The third one is the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. This is a 1500th century. This is a medieval text, and it marks a shift in yoga's focus towards the body, but not in the way we might think. It introduces 15 key asanas out of 84, chosen not for their flexibility or strength, but for their healing benefits. For example, the Paschimottanasana, the seated forward fold, it stimulates digestion and removes all diseases. Mayurasana, peacock pose, is said to digest or help us to digest even the strongest poison. Siddhasana, the adept pose, it strengthens the spine and purifies the subtle energy channels. Asanas in this tradition are meant to cleanse and balance the body so that breathing techniques, pranayama, and meditation can unfold with ease. The text also gives guidance on diet and daily routines, echoing many principles found in Ayurveda. My favorite line from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika is, anyone who is not lazy in the pursuit of yoga, whether young, old, very old, ill, or weak, attains success through practice. That's in the first chapter, verse 64. Isn't that beautifully encouraging? On a personal note here, I lived with daily back pain and body aches for over a decade due to scoliosis. When I found yoga, it was absolutely life-changing. After my very first session, I experienced complete relief, something I haven't felt in years. I was pain-free and I felt light as a feather. Over time, yoga has not only helped me manage and reduce the pain, it gave me strength, mobility, and a deep sense of peace. That's why the Hatha Yoga Pradipika really resonates strongly with me. It sees the body as something to be supported and balanced, not to be pushed or punished, like the old text sometimes suggested. So, what is yoga really? So, yoga is so much more than movement. The postures are like stepping stones. They help us feel better, breathe more deeply, and prepare the body to sit quietly and tune in. Many people come to yoga with backaches, stiff hips, sore shoulders, or feeling stressed and disconnected. And that's okay, because it's a great place to start. In fact, it's exactly where yoga wants to meet you. Practicing postures can help you strengthen and heal the body, support digestion and circulation, calm the nervous system, reset your energy, feel more like yourself again. In fact, studies have shown that regular yoga practice can reduce chronic low back pain and improve daily function. This study resonates with my own experience. As mentioned before, for years I lived with scoliosis-related pain, and yoga was the first thing that brought me consistent, sustainable relief. And it's one reason I'm so passionate about sharing the practice with others, because I've seen what it can do. The breath we use in yoga also plays a powerful role. Deep rhythmic breathing switches on the rest and digest response, calms the mind and soothes the entire system. Over time, you may begin to notice a quietness underneath the surface. That's the beginning of something deeper and quite magical. Yoga teaches that this calm, this peaceful state is our natural state. It's just being covered up by stress on worries or habits and overthinking. And the best part? Your breath is always with you. You can access it at any time. Maybe you're new to yoga and wonder what to expect. I bet you're thinking, what if I'm not flexible enough? Will I be the only beginner? What if I can't keep up? Well, these are quite normal questions. And the good news is you're not alone. Probably everyone will have them. And you're not expected to know anything before you begin. Yoga is not about touching your toes or doing handstands, though those things can come later if you want them to. It's about reconnecting with your body, resetting your nervous system, and moving in a way that feels good. When you join a beginner-friendly class or course, you can expect a warm welcome, no judgment, no pressure. Simple and clear instructions. Everything is explained step by step. Adaptable poses. There's always a way to make a pose work for you. Guided breathing. Remember, this is one of yoga's most powerful tools for managing stress. Time to slow down. You won't be rushed or pushed into anything. Space to ask questions, whether you're curious about poses or the philosophy. Each week builds on the last, slowly improving your strength, posture, and flexibility. And over time, something subtle begins to shift. You may sleep better, you feel calmer, begin to breathe more deeply, more often. Many of my students come to yoga and they feel tired or stuck, and leave the class feeling lighter, clearer, and more at ease. So if you've been thinking, maybe I should try yoga, but I'm not quite sure whether to start. But I'm not quite sure where to start. Consider this your invitation. You don't need to be flexible. You don't need to have the right clothes or gear. You just need to be open to give it a try. How about right now? Want to feel what I'm talking about? So if you have a minute and you have some space, you're not sitting on your office chair, you're not at work right now or shopping or outdoors, let's practice Viparita Karani. It's a mudra, a body gesture, and it's from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, but it's slightly adapted to taking the legs up the wall. So for this, if you're ready, lie down, very close to the wall, swing your legs up the wall, or you can also let them rest on a chair or a sofa. Place a thin cushion under your head. Let it support your neck as well. Place a thicker cushion or blanket underneath your pelvis for elevation. Relax. Close your eyes. Let your breath slow down naturally. Stay here for a few minutes. Don't worry if your mind stays busy. Focus on how your body feels, how your breath feels. If you practice right now with me, I'm sure you don't want to get up. You can always hit pause and stay longer. So how do you feel now? This is the potential of yoga. Even this short practice creates a shift. Let's recap what we covered today. Yoga isn't just about postures. It's a whole system designed to help you live more calm, with clarity and balance. The postures came later in yoga's evolution and were originally used to support breathing practices and inner stillness. Texts like the Bhagavad Gita and the Yoga Sutras remind us there are many paths in yoga, and each of us can find the one that fits. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika introduced postures as tool for healing, not for performance. And this is where my own healing journey began. Even simple practices like lying with your legs up the wall or breathing mindfully for a few minutes can shift how you feel in your body and in your mind. Some final thoughts. Start where you are. You might be still thinking, I'm just there for the postures, and that's absolutely fine. What matters is that it works. Even a short practice can help you feel calmer, more grounded, and more like yourself. That changes then how you show up for your family, your work colleagues, and for your own well-being. And if you ever feel curious to go deeper, to explore how your breath shapes your mind, or how ancient philosophy can support your modern life, the teachings of yoga are here for you. One step, one breath, one posture at a time. Whether you've been practicing yoga for years or you're just thinking about starting, I hope this episode reminded you that yoga isn't just about the postures. It's about coming home to yourself. If you're ready to explore yoga in a safe and supportive space, I'd love to welcome you to my 6-week Yoga for Beginners course. You find all the details at my website, zestforyoga.com, or check the link in the show notes below. Thanks for listening to the Rooted in the Seasons podcast. I'm Katja, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.